I'm John Watson, and today we're waiting on it drying up. I would say your biggest 5-year plan is to survive it.
That's why I get called Big G. You're here for a good time.
You're not working all the time. I think you're either going to be spending it in the pub or you're going to be doing something like, so at least if you're kept busy all the time to do the job.
I don't see it stressful, but everybody else says it is. You maybe don't show it, I suppose. The heart rate would tell you different. I would say it's been one of the most annoying seasons for rain that we've seen so far. Maybe not the wettest season overall, but one of the most annoying seasons, just constant drizzles and bits of rain that hold you back. Today, we're obviously hoping to be continuing on with harvest and silage, but it rained last night, so you changed around to going back to umbilical and tankers today. There's a boy top end. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 umbilicals out. Gary's cutting hedges. The other ones were maintaining combines. They're trying to get drills ready for drilling grain, because that's back on it again. They're back on grass seed now. They were shifting grain. There's 2 boys out with a digger. There's a squad of them shifting bales. I don't know what else I've missed. Oh, cutting grass and we're tedding grass as well. Well, you've got to keep moving. You can't just pick and choose. You've got to be able to supply all the services. Some people rely on you to cover everything. And also, you've got to have a variety of jobs to carry out, no matter how big or how small it is. It's always important as each other. You get people, even as I always see it, pulling dump trailers, for example, or spreading muck. They want it done on a dry day. So you've still to be able to accommodate that at the same time as you're trying to get somebody else's silage in, or grain in the ground, or combining or baling. Throughout the years, the farmers or your clients, they've all changed in the way that they're progressing on. They're becoming bigger. They're relying on bigger outputs. You've got smaller weather windows, so they're relying on you with good machinery to get the job done in a shorter space of time in that weather window. Then also, some of them collect the data that the machines can produce and analyse that and go through yield mapping or go through Omnia, or even, well, this year we're going to try vary rate seeding as well for the grain drills that the combines can produce a map from, and it all goes round in a circle basically. If at the end of the day you can reduce the cost of putting, say, your crop in the ground, for example, why not reduce the cost of that if you're still getting an optimum yield?
Gary McDermott. Yes, I have been with Drew and John for around 25 years now. He was advertising for a man, and I always fancied doing contracting, so I gave him a ring and he asked us to come for an interview, and he said that he would let us know within the next few days if the job was mine, and that was it. Started from there, and the business was miles smaller as what it is now. Then when I first started with him, I drove a fast track then and done a bit of mowing, mostly umbilical slurry and just other various jobs. And normally every year I do a bit of ploughing, hedge cutting, combining. That's about my 3 normal jobs within the year. The jobs that I do is the jobs I enjoy doing, and usually Drew and John just leave me to work away, and I contact them once I've finished jobs and they tell me where to go next and just work away. When you look back to what it was back in the early days, you think, aye, there is a queer old difference now in the size of business, but even in the difference in machinery as well to what it was then, combine wise, it was a smaller combine then that I was driving when I first started, and just the other machinery was just a lot smaller as what it is now. We've got 4 combines on the go. This one of mine is a 630, and he's another 630 as well. It's a 4-wheel drive one. And then he's an older one, which is the oldest one in the fleet. It's a 620, and then he's the last new one he got on tracks. I think it'll be quite good this year with soft conditions, plus it's a bit quicker on the road as well for getting to some jobs. The age I'm not one that's really into technology. I'm old school. Younger boys and all that, they like the technology, auto steer and all the rest of it. Unless other people do tell you, it is good to find out things that you don't really know. At the end of the day, it is probably a benefit to what it would be back in the earlier days. Some of the jobs and all the machines that's doing the jobs now does the jobs a lot easier as what they would do then. This is the combine I'm on just now is the first brand new combine that I've had. The other ones was just kind of hand-me-downs. When there was a fresh combine coming, then I got handed down the one that they were driving. It was usually my father used to work for Drew, and it was usually his ones I got when he got a fresh one. This will be its 5th season, and it's not 4-wheel drive because there wasn't a 4-wheel drive one available at the time that Drew was changing, so it's not 4-wheel drive, but other than that it's top spec, 20-foot header, and the combine goes well. It's got oversized wheels front and back, so it travels quite well on the ground as well. A lot of boys round this area like this kind of size of header, 22 foot, because the row of straw out the back of the machine isn't too big for them to deal with their balers. Anything bigger, then the row of straw starts to get quite big for them dealing with balers. So most farmers like that kind of 22 foot size of header. We're down at Bank End combining today for Alistair Wiley. He's got about 88 acres to do, and the way I came here on Sunday, but the way the weather's been, I've not got very much done so far. We're in a field of undersown with Italian grass, but he's only taken the heads off so that he can get the grain and it'll leave the grass. So it's quite handy, like so today when the weather's not the best for drying. It's giving us a chance to get on the move sharper. Cutting this, you've not got to deal with the straw going through the machine. He gets the grain and a wee bit of the straw, and then he's got the grass underneath. He usually grazes it with his cattle, so he's got a field of grass to go back onto with his cattle. Sometimes it's okay doing that if you get the right weather, that you can get the grain, that the grass doesn't get too far up through it, because it can cause a problem cutting it with a combine. But no, it seems to be going well today, so it is. The local farmer here is doing the carting in with his trailer himself. Like so tomorrow, he'll get another boy to come and cart the grain. He'll do the baling himself. He's got a McHale baler, he just does it himself. I take it he didn't want to be seen on the video with his loader tractor, that the ground's quite wet at the moment down here, so he's been feeding cattle and all that, and the tractor was quite dirty. But I see he's changed the tractor to his other one. He's went and hooked the baler off and changed his tractor to the other one, so it's a bit cleaner looking. I'll have a one, I'll say, aye, yeah, you didn't want to show the dirty John Deere, eh?
I think after being at college, they came back home to try and do some work. I wanted to become in the business after that, but you've seen opportunities such as, used to remember in the summertime when they went, say, chopping or combining, there'd be tractors sitting about or whatever, and you would say to Dad, why is there still tractors sitting about on a lovely sunny day? He'd say, because we're busy doing combining and there's nothing else to do for them. And then you thought to yourself, well, there is other things that they can do. So then you started looking at different avenues, different tasks that they can do to try and keep the ball moving, or keep them moving. You then got integrated in other tasks, and it kind of went from there. You thought you could make a go, or a bigger go at keeping everything moving. Then the next thing you knew, you got a little bit bigger. Then you got a little bit bigger again. You got some of your larger farms. They also started to grow, and when they grew more, they wanted you to do more work for them, so you either had to go with them or not go with them. And I think that's where you've basically came to the level that you're at just now. You've got customers that want you to go and chop 300 acres in a day. So you've got to be able to cope with that in a certain degree. In the same respect, you've also got customers that don't want you to chop a lot in a day because they may have a smaller clamp. So one of the biggest changes in the industry will be technological advances. It's all coming at a price, so you're then reaching a price. We can only charge as much as what your client can pay for what they're getting for their product, but you've got to balance that alongside your machinery, which is getting dearer. The men, our wages, your running costs are increasing. A lot of small farms are integrating into big farms. They're trying to be more intensive. In your crops, we're growing more crops or various crops now, or varied crops, compared to what you were years ago as well. But your time scale for what you're doing, winters in the olden days, winters seemed to be winters and summers used to be summers. Now we've got kind of one season all year, and you're trying to do all your work in a short space of time. We've had various harvesters throughout the years, but one that stuck through and through has always been Class. They've had probably most of the different types of Class self-propelleds. As we grew to trying to do more in a day, you grew to getting bigger Class harvesters. We then came along, we wanted to go for short chop for an AD plant, to which we tried both the Class and the John Deere, and we found that they were very similar in what they could do, but we went for the John Deere for sake of all the yield mapping, because we had to produce reports for the data coming off the field. That was then the start of precision mapping, which followed on to your drilling and your fertiliser spreading and all that through and through. So we would then have one John Deere chopper and 3 Class choppers working side by side. Recently, we suffered the loss of the John Deere chopper. Fortunately, it caught fire, so we need to see what we can do about the replacement for that. You found it quite fascinating, well, you found it frightening, but fascinating as well, that the ferocity that's involved in a fire like that. And I remember when we were there, close on 3 hours later, the fire brigade had still been there putting it out, and he got his heat detector out and he was showing you, and it was something like 110, 120 degrees. He was still reading off the axle on the chopper. What happened to that job? We got the other Class forager just to finish off chopping at the same time. I think the fire brigade found it quite fascinating that we were still lifting the grass. But we had to get the grass lifted to keep the job going before it rained, so we got the field cleared at the end. If you were going to sit and worry about everything, you wouldn't get up in the morning, would you? People have different ways in worrying about things, but if you let everything get to you, you won't get up in the morning. Tomorrow's another day. You always got to think of that. There's another day coming. One of the biggest troubles that everybody has, whether you've got 4 staff or 40 staff, is finding people nowadays, I would say. And what we found is that people from our area go abroad in the winter quite often to New Zealand or Australia or America. in the summer. So what is wrong with those people coming over here? The other ones, if you put it that way, it's another way in working life. We found a lot of Irish people come over, and they've got as many skills as anyone else. It's all about the skill set, isn't it?
My name's Whitney Hugh. I'm from a wee village called Smithborough in County Monaghan, over in Ireland. I was out in Australia last year, and then I came home, and I was in England at the start of the year. I was working for a boy down in Manchester, and then I was at home again for the summertime at Silage, and then the opportunity came to come over here, and I said I should come over and see what the crack is, and came over here, and now I'm full time with John, and kept going every day, and loads of work, great opportunities to do loads of different types of jobs, and it's just good crack all the way around. You get more opportunities over here. There's more work, I think. You can do more jobs, and like the slurry ban over here, it's not really affecting as much as it is at home. Like you're finished up at home on the 1st of October, over here you can go over the winter, and there's just a bigger, wider variety, like all the arable farming, the grain, baling, all that type of stuff. Like, it's great having that wide variety. You're not stuck like a robot doing the same thing all the time over and over. You get to change it up every once in a while, you know. That's what I like about it. Normally, if you're here for a while and John sees that you're staying, he tends to get you your own tractor now. But this here tractor behind me, this is Fraser's. He's on the loader there today. So I'm driving it. Oh, it's grand. It's good and comfy bus. Like. You need the comfort, so you do. Oh, she can move bales all right. She can move bales, definitely. She's plenty of power in it.
Years and years ago, when you had your main tractor drivers that you would say helped build up the business at the very start, they had the tractor they drove all the time, so they started to put the name on it, and that would be how that started. Then as more people came on board, when they got the name put on the tractor, they felt it like being at home. They then began to look after it, you would say a bit better, and they begin to live in it, don't they? Not everybody likes the same brand of tractor. If they put them in a brand of tractor they don't like, you don't get the full capacity out of them, or the full willingness out of them. Everyone has a different degree of motivation, don't they? I think they're very motivated in what they do. If they're not motivated in a certain task, it's not the task for them. Well, you've got to trust them. You're putting all your trust and faith in them. That's the whole thing. You're dealing with the road, you're dealing with people on the road, you're dealing with horses, you're dealing with the general public. You've got to have trust in them. They are then going and doing a job for a farmer, or putting the crop in or harvesting the crop. It's got to be right.
No, John's 100% too. He's a great boss, I think. He loves a bit of crack and he gets the work done, as you can see. I'd love to stay here for a long time now, so I'd like to get up on the chopper now in a couple of years. That's what I'd like to drive one of them choppers at some stage and see what the crack is there. I'd also like to do a bit of square baling. I love that square baling. Friends of mine are down in Cambridge are doing square baling and it looks class. So that's what I'd like to do that. But you have to start at the bottom, work your way up, don't you? It's just keeping my head down, doing what I have to do and do the job right. And then John will see that he's fit to trust me, build up my trust.
I like to get on with everybody. At the end of the day, life's too short not to get on with anybody. So even when there is new staff coming in, I still like to make them feel welcome in the workplace. There's a variety of staff they've come and went. Irish boys who's been over from Ireland, New Zealand guys. There was a boy in Girl was here from New Zealand, and they moved on. They went to do a harvest down south. They were good to get on. When you've not met people like that before, then it's hard for them coming from a country over there to a strange place. It's not easy for them either. This year's been trying a bit, really from start to finish. With the wet weather, you're just getting days now and again, and the travelling, the ground conditions was getting pretty soft. I'm sure we might be pretty lucky to some places in other parts of the country that will still be pretty soft, but it's been not too bad travelling with the combines just up till now. I would think we'll be getting pretty well through. There'll still be a wee bit to do, but we'll be getting pretty well through it now. If we have these 2 or 3 dry days up to the weekend that they're forecasting, then that should help Drew along a bit, so it should.
Well, within the business, there's not just myself. I used to do a lot of the paperwork. Dad did paperwork, then he did a bit less paperwork. I did more after that. And it was getting to the stage you were doing paperwork the whole time. So we took on a lady to help out in the office called Claire. She came in to help out. Then you realised that you were growing even more and there was a bigger demand to try and keep up with your health and safety side and all that too. We brought in Hella, my sister, to help out in the office too, which makes it even more, you would say, a family-run business. Mum has been there all along for Dad throughout the whole time. I can remember even when Dad used to go, and if he was combining or spraying or whatever, Mum would actually help out with the dairy. She would be his right-hand man, you would say, and she did that throughout all the years. Well, she had to put up with me, didn't she, as well, and put up with everybody else. That's a bigger thing too. Dad's as passionate as anything else, I suppose. He goes at whatever pace he wants to go at, is the best way. He's fit and able just now, so you go at the pace that you want to go at, so you do. I think looking back at what you've achieved so far, you've always got to look back at, well, no, obviously number one, Drew achieved all the way through as well, haven't you? But you've tried to take it on a bit further, and I think, yes, you've got to be proud of that. And also, as perhaps other generations coming on, I think you've still got the drive to keep going for other generations. They'll come in, and there's no reason why you can't, you would say, progress further or get bigger or anything like that. I would say some days you get that little kick where you achieve the impossible. You can actually sit there and you can think, right, I've got those 6 jobs to get round with those choppers, and you've got, or you could easily sit there with over 1,000 acre you try and chop in a day, and then you can sit there with 300 or 400 acre you go baling it, no bother. And you get to that stage where you actually get through and you get right to there, and you get to later on in the day and you're like, I can actually do something else now. You're getting there, and that's when you get that wee kick. You get finished before, well, you'd say you get finished before the rain.
The advice that I would give anybody if they were coming into this job is, if they are willing to give it a go, is come and try it in this industry and see how they like it.
Anybody who's watching the video and they thought they would like to come and give it a try, you wouldn't be adverse to giving anyone a try or giving something a try, wouldn't you? You've got to in life, no matter whether it's with us or with someone else. If you want to go and try something. You don't know if you'll like it or not until you actually try it.